mahalo for being here today. I'm really excited to be back at the Four Seasons. Auntie, I just want to say mahalo for allowing me to be part of this Festivals of Aloha, because it's been something, a big treat for my ohana to be able to come and see the culture being celebrated in this sort of light and venue, you know. But before we begin, can we just do quickly your name and like your title right now? Yeah, I'll start with you.
Aloha. I'm Koakāne Mattos. I'm the Hawaiian Cultural Ambassador here at Four Seasons Maui, and also kumuhula or ko-kumuhula of Halau o Kahanulehua under the direction of Kamaka Kukona.
Nice.
And I'm Aunty Mopsie, some people AKA Aunty Wendy. I'm the Director of Hawaiian Programs here at the Four Seasons Resort Maui.
And I think you're like the third time we're talking stories again. But I think the reason why I enjoy it so much is because every single time we meet up and talk, so much has changed, and so much has grown, and new people, new faces, and it's always delight to see how you're upholding the culture here, at the Four Seasons. So for those who aren't very familiar with what the Festivals of Aloha is all about, can you just share a little bit more about it?
Yeah. So, this is our 4th year doing the Festivals of Aloha. It actually started off as an Aloha Week, and then it has since changed. So after my first year of doing Aloha Week, which was an activation of 5 days of all these different activities or activations, um, it turned over to Festivals of Aloha. And so, like I said, this is our 4th annual. And basically, what it was born out of the love for the Hawaiian culture. Um, it started off at its basis was just Hawaiian music and hula. Now, it has really grown. It has really grown over all these 4 years. I don't know how I'm going to do next year. I don't know how I'm going to top our 4th year, because next year is supposed to be a really good celebration because it is our 5th year. Um, but from that, we've been able to bring the Hawaiian practitioners into the resort as well. And that's important because a lot of our Hawaiian practitioners, they're our kupuna. And I always tell everyone to come because you need to learn from our kupunas. They didn't learn from books. They didn't learn from YouTube. They learned it because it's so multi-generational. It's been passed on from their tutu to their tutu to the next generation. Now it's finally with them. And a lot of them that come out here, some of them, they are in their 70s. So how wonderful to say that I learned from them in person instead of, oh, well, I read about them after all these years. And so I love bringing in our practitioners in to come and share, and they love doing that as well. And then, of course, something that grew from 4, now I think this year we actually had 22 vendors, and I actually delegated that to him. I said, okay, wow, you're going to be in charge of all the vendors, because that's not an easy task. And yeah, he's taking over. I'm going to let him kind of talk about, but what he did.
Yeah.
Festival.
Yeah, so I was part of the or in charge of facilitating our Live Aloha Market, and that's kind of part of all of the events that we do here at Four Seasons. I'll go a little bit into that history as well. We created Aunty Mopsie here created the Live Aloha Market as a way to support our local community coming out of COVID when jobs were hard to come across because people weren't getting together and having events. So they did a pilot program to support some of our local vendors here. And what started as something small as a sidewalk of vendors that they called the Sidewalk Tuhana, I believe, turned into a now revolving list of local vendors from Maui, and some from Outer Island as well, that we pull in to be part of our special events throughout the year, whether it be for Hawaiian holidays like Kamehameha Day or celebration of Lei, like May Day and all that. And so this being our 4th year in as Festivals of Aloha at Wailea, we were able to pull in about 22 vendors.
Wow, right.
And Manaola being one of those specialty vendors is
And that just shows the excitement that comes with this, right? And everybody looking forward to it.
I think one of the things that really was prevalent this year was a lot of our new vendors that we brought in for this. They would say, "Oh, so how much does a space cost?" And he would tell me that there's no cost for the space because what we wanted to do as part of what we do here at the Four Seasons is to go ahead and take care of our locals, take care of our local vendors. And so the only requirements that we have for them is that whatever item you're bringing, you need to be the one who made it.
Yeah.
So you're not buying something from somewhere, repackaging it, and then selling it.
Yeah.
So I always tell people, go talk to the person who made the kulolo. They made it. They can talk to you about how they had to go pick out a kalo or whatever. All of the different vendors, whether they're making food, whether they're doing their jewelry, they're actually sitting at the booths still making their jewelry.
Yeah.
And if you're talking about what you want to purchase, you're talking to the person who made it. So how wonderful. Yeah, you've had a lot of good experiences getting to know a lot of the different vendors as well. I mean, I walked through and I said, so what is this vendor? Because I don't have to do it anymore.
Yeah.
He's doing it. And I thought,
So nice, yeah.
hey, this is a good product.
Yeah. You know, when we talk about the energy and the amount of the festivals that comes in, right? Like, what does that feel like for you? What does that feel like?
It's a lot, 3 days worth of vendors, cultural practitioners, halau with their showcase of hula, musicians coming to share their mele Hawaii, and then just the passion of culture altogether. It's a lot, it's a lot. And from the day we start the planning as far as when the rooms are booked and then going forward with all of our vendors, all of our practitioners, our halal, even down to like our funding and all that and our sponsors,
Yeah.
it takes a lot, but it's really a passion of it's a passion project, and it's seeing this end product of these 3 days that we've been going through it,
Yeah.
that kind of power us for the next one.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you're looking at this is the end of 3 days, 3 hours of sleep per day.
And still stunning. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Yes. No, but I get excited and I think we're tired, and then the show starts and I am rejuvenated. When I hear that Hawaiian music, when I see the keiki coming on that stage, and I see our kupuna coming on that stage, and they're out there dancing and they're giving it all, and then you hear they're knowing that their ohana is in that crowd, and everything that they're seeing is complimentary. They didn't have to pay.
Yeah.
And that's why they're all coming out to see, they're caking everybody on that stage. That's what just brings me back to life. I may go down after, but at the time I'm hearing like with like we had the Lim family.
Oh, yeah.
And that's music that I remember listening to because my father listened to them. He loved their music. So every song that came on last night triggered all these memories.
Yeah.
And I had people sitting there. I would walk around and kind of sit with different people, and everybody was like, I kept on hearing, oh wow, and I love that song.
Yeah.
And I hear everybody singing along,
Mhm.
and it songs that I haven't heard in a while. But as soon as they're playing it, all the words come back,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden I'm singing with them as well. So those types of things. When I look back, was it a lot of work? Yeah, it's a lot of work. Would I do it again? Definitely. It's so worth it. Um, yeah, it was just we still got one more night. We still have one
No,
more
yeah.
night. Yeah, we're still going.
So how has with it growing so much, like you've seen it from the beginning, right, over here. How has that celebration evolved over these past 4 years? Both not only in scale. I mean, you mentioned how it started off with like this a sidewalk, right? A sidewalk to Hana or road to Hana. How has the Festivals of Aloha here at Wailea grown in scale and also in meaning?
Well, I just think that um, every time when I first started,
Mhm.
I didn't know what to expect,
Yeah.
and then at the end, I would look at it like, "Oh, that was great," and I got a lot of feedback, and I listened. I listened to what people had to say, and they said, "Wow, I wish we had this."
Mm.
And maybe we should do this. And what was happening was that without, after we had the fires in Lahaina, there was a lot of repositioning to think of, and it was all dependent on listening to what everybody was saying out there and saying, well, how can we lift up? How
Yeah.
can we involve and um, take care of the lahui when so much tragedy is going on? Can we have that moment that we can all come together for that moment and just enjoy?
Mhm.
Just be happy. And I think that's what's motivated. Um, what we've done every single year. And I think what's really great is that they bring people who've been watching,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden, everybody wants to be involved.
Yeah.
And you want to be involved, come on over. Come on over. Contact us. Um, if the goal is to provide what we do, a service for the community, then we're headed in the right direction. And I never know what's going to be next year. I have a couple of inklings on what I'd like to do. But we really never know, right? We have no idea. And as we talk about it, and we make our phone calls, it kind of like it kind of comes together.
Together.
But yeah, we never know. It just happens.
For you, Koakāne, how long have you been with the Four Seasons?
So I'm actually just making my about 3 years here at Four Seasons. I think I started right before Festivals of Aloha
Okay.
3 years ago. So it was already a few years in. But every year I've seen it grow to be what it is today. And it's very inspiring,
Yeah.
to be in that atmosphere where culture is celebrated in the way that it is.
And he's been given a lot more responsibility. So as I say, so he's rocking it now. Yeah. I said,
Yeah.
when it's time for Auntie to retire, I said, how wonderful that I know that it's going to pass down into good hands, because he knows that this is something that we're doing now that needs to be perpetuated. It's not just for this moment. We're doing this, and every year we keep on going and going. So yeah, when I do retire, I'm not going to have any regrets. I want to look at that retire because I know that what we started here is going to be continued, and how wonderful.
Yeah.
And I always want to say mahalo to our execs who allow us to do this, and I also have to mahalo our kumu. We have the same kumu kamakukuna. He is the one who inspires us or tells us or gives us his mana'o, and we run with it.
Yeah.
We run with it. What do you guys think? But we always like, kumu, what do you think? He goes, well, what do you guys think? He kind of puts it back on us to kind of help us, not to give too much, but he wants us to think and then come up with something. So yeah, I think we're very fortunate that Kumu Kumaka has kind of taken us under his wings and kind of like raised us to understand and appreciate the fact that we can bring these Hawaiian cultural things not only to the hotel guests, not only to the community, but really for our own ohanas as well.
And I think that's just what shows within the festivals, right, of Aloha, is that it's a celebration not only of our culture, but it's also like a reflection of the values, our Hawaiian values that we live by within our ohana, within the community. How have you seen the community respond to that sort of feeling when they come here?
Did you walk through the lobby yesterday?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I bumped into them at the pu'iai. What's a getting poke and boy.
Yeah, and I think it's just taking on a life of itself. And this is what we say. We're in a resort setting. And so of course, our guests have access to this. But the thing is, when we put out the kahea goes out to everyone in the community. It doesn't matter what nationality you are or where you're from. If you want to come and you want to experience the Hawaiian culture, we're telling you to come. Easy to Google, right? And see what does this mean? What does the word aloha mean? You want to know what the word aloha means? Come to us when we have the Festivals of Aloha.
Yeah.
You're going to feel it by just walking through the lobby and talking to people, all the practitioners talking to you, walking through all of the vendors and being able to speak to all of our local people. Can't put that into words.
Yeah.
It really is a feeling. Yeah.
Yeah. Oroshi.
I think, just the atmosphere, being in the moment. Yeah, you can see the videos, but until you actually come here and spend the weekend with us, you won't truly understand the level of aloha that we have to share, and how awesome that we get to share it with our guests, with our ohana, and with the community here in Wailea, here in Maui Nui Akama, here in Hawaii.
Yeah, my oldest is 10, and he was just like this, going to all the aunties, walking through every single thing. He's like, I want to go here, I want to go there. And then he even, we saw you at the pa'iai and poke, and he was like, I want some pa'iai, I want some poke. I was like, okay. But he just felt like comfort you know, like, because even like all the uh, activities, all the aunties were just like, it reminded him of being at home, you know, with his aunties. Because he's like, oh, baby, come over here. Try this, you know. And he'll be like, okay. And then he'll come back and he has his Ohekapala going, his stamps, and he has his coconut hat on. And he's just like, oh, this is the best. You know, so how does that feel seeing the keiki and opio also coming here to see and experience all of this? Even like last night, have given an opportunity to dance here as well.
You know, that's what you're about. And we have to make sure that these kinds of things are being instilled in our children, getting them interested in it. Like you said, your son was so interested that they're going to be able to continue this as we go along. I think, like, especially this year, both of us were very recognized as we were walking through and checking on everybody. How's everything going? But because they recognized us, they were coming up to us. People were coming up to us and like, we're having a great time and thank you. Can't say, anything more, because we're watching and everybody's just enjoying. And we said on Friday, we said, oh, Fridays usually everybody's working there, and it's going to be slow. I don't know what we were thinking.
Yeah.
We're walking through the lobby and it's full. And then Saturday, even more so. So it's like people are coming out, people are enjoying. But we saw a lot of kids.
Yeah.
We saw a lot of kids walking through and taking part in all the activities. Wonderful.
Yeah. Speaking of being recognized, I was telling you earlier, you know, like Koakāne became like a star to my kids because he's seeing him singing one night with one group, singing this next night with next group, and then dancing hula and doing oli and tukumu hula. And they're just like, wow, like, Dad, like, that's the uncle that was all over the place, you know, and he works here too. I was like, yeah. He's like, wow. But it just shows how talented as people we are, you know. I was hearing the Lim family last night. I was talented, seeing all the hula dancers and hearing all the kumu speak. You know, you just see how talented and how proud we are as Native Hawaiians to be in a space together to celebrate the culture. Yeah.
One of the things that I was really excited about was we have what was called, well, we've had it for, this was the third year, and it's called Hiva Akoa.
Yeah.
And they talk about the koa canoe, and last year we actually had the canoe that came out here. But they show a film last year. And so we were watching a film, and it was all about Sonny Bradley. And I had asked, I said, and he's the master koa canoe builder. And so I'm watching the film, like, wow, that's amazing. And my question was, is he still alive? And they said, Auntie, he is. And I said, can we get him to come over?
Yeah.
I said, this is the kind, so things just roll.
Yeah.
I never knew that we were going to be able to bring him over, but I said, if he's still alive, let's come and see if we can get him over here. And we were able to get him to come over. And Tyson is one of our canoe people here. He's a waterman. And he said, Auntie, I'll go and check for you. We'll go check. And he really facilitated that. So, like I said, we never know what we're going to do. It just happens.
Yeah.
And he came, and that was another great.
Oh, yeah. I was there. Yeah, I was there. And just hearing the story and like all that goes on, because you see it out on the ocean, you know. And
he came in with so many good stories.
Oh, yeah, so many good stories, you know. But it just shows like these stories need to be shared, you know. And as mentioned before, right? Like how lucky we are to be able to sit amongst these people to hear straight from them, you know, and to feel their presence and to be to acknowledge all the work that they are doing and hoping that they feel appreciated,
Right.
you know, because I could tell Uncle Sonny Brady was kind of like, he's a humble guy, you know, like he's a hard worker. So when he was being acknowledged, he was kind of like, oh, no. But at the same time, it's needed to be done, you know. They need to be celebrated.
They need to know their value.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, they're kapuna, and actually when I looked him up too, to see, everything on there said Master Canoe Builder, and I said, what a wonderful title.
Yeah. What
a wonderful title that he should be very proud of, but we should also be putting it out there for everybody else to know that as well.
Yeah.
You know, it's one thing to have the title, but it's another thing to make sure that we're acknowledging it.
Yeah.
And he's already a kupuna. And so for me, it was a big deal that we said, no, please invite him.
Yeah.
And let's see if we can get him over here to Maui. So that's the kind of things that we always kind of look at to see, like, who's out there.
Oh, right on.
Who can we bring in? You know, let's rise them up and show our appreciation to them.
Yeah. Koakāne, is there like you know, you mentioned how you've been here during the Festival of Aloha for the past 3 years. Is there a specific memory that kind of sticks out to you where you're just like, this is this is it. Like, whew, I know there's a lot of memories, but the thing is too that you're so involved, in it too. So for me to ask you that is a tall order, I know.
Honestly, I think that moment kind of hit me this year, I would say. In the past 2 years was trying to balance. It's a balancing act. When do I have my cultural ambassador hat on? When do I shift that to my kumuhula hat? And then, when do I shift that to my musician hat? And when am I wearing all three at the same time?
This weekend.
Yeah. So this year I think was probably the the best so far, knowing how to, like, me and Auntie work together, how me and my hula sisters and hula brothers work together, like our fellow alaka'i that have unikid with me, whether ho'opa'a and olapa, we all balance each other out, and then same for just the whole Four Seasons team, we all balance each other out. So this year was just really nice. I was able to focus on my music when I was a musician. I could focus on our hula when I was a kumuhula. And of course, I could focus on times I was working and facilitating with Auntie, our Festivals of Aloha. So
Nice.
yeah, it just and like Auntie was mentioning, walking around and people recognizing you,
Yeah.
is just it's nice, and they check in too, and the fact that we get that good feedback, and oh yeah, it's so awesome, and a lot of time was congratulations, because I just won the falsetto contest for Richard Hope, but playing for the Wahine version, Auntie Carmen Hulu Lindsay's Leo Ha'i was really uh aha moment, to be a winner and then also play for the winner.
Yeah.
Was kind of
Awesome. Guys, that's amazing.
Yeah, we just had a lot of good things. I mean, there were other things that we were thinking about doing, and we kind of put it on the side or whatever. But then we didn't have space for anything else. We said,
Yeah.
man, all of the time that we have every day was pretty much taken. And this year, one of the other things that was really neat, first time we did it, and I already have people telling me, you need to bring this back, is we actually had a kumuhula panel, and it was called Competition Culture, right?
Yeah.
Everyone. Now, we live hula. Hula is life for us. I work during the day here at Four Seasons. I do what I do. And no matter how tired I am or whatever it is, if there's halal, there's papa,
Yeah.
we're going. And of course, when we get there, we get all rejuvenated again. And so when Kumukamaka brought up that idea, and it's his idea, we went with Kumura's fabulous.
Yeah.
But I didn't know how fabulous are you going to be till I sat in that audience today. And I got to listen to all the different perspectives, because we're hula people, but there's a lot of things that were shared I didn't even know.
Yeah.
So today, I actually learned a lot.
Yeah. I was there too, and I was listening to it. And, from someone who's not in hula and hearing all that goes on, I think it's something that I wish more of the community came in, because I think it'll change a different perspective of how all the work that the kumu do have to go through. And it'll only elevate the support that they need, because that's what I kind of got from it, was that a kumu need more support. Halaus need more support.
And I think this is gonna be a good step for us to do.
Yeah.
When we did like Heva Ako, it started off small. So this was the
Beginning.
beginning. This year it was fabulous.
Yeah.
And so I think this being the first year for competition culture or a Kumuhula forum, I'm hoping that we can move forward. And I had people already talking to me in the lobby going, you need to bring this back. I said,
Yeah.
well, that's going to depend if these kumu want to come back. Kumus all said, we want to come back. So if that's the case, I think this is going to be an activation that's going to be adding on. We're going to continue this. Why change something that works? And it worked. It worked.
With the Festival of Aloha being here at the Four Seasons, how much does it mean to you to see the executive team come together to support this, as well as everybody else on staff to be excited about having Festivals of Aloha here?
We've had a lot of changes in our executive staff. And I think when I first found out that, he's leaving and we're going to get somebody new, my first reaction was, oh, wow, what's going to happen? Because when we get top executives come in, they can do the changes, or they can make whatever changes they really want to. And I felt very supported because the ones that were still here was like, Auntie, don't worry. Don't worry. And I can tell you truthfully, I'm not worried anymore. I think our new GM was here. He just came. He's been here for 2 weeks. And we said, oh my gosh, he came the right time.
Yeah.
Because I said, if he wants to be immersed in the Hawaiian culture, this is the weekend that's going to
This is a perfect weekend.
perfect weekend. And he's already spoken to me and he loves everything that he's doing. And he's been here before. And so when he was here, he said that, yeah, there was no culture here at all. Nothing with activities or anything. It was just functioning as a resort.
Yeah.
And now he comes back and he's seeing all of this happening here. I don't think it could have been any better for him to experience what he just did this weekend. Yeah.
Right. You know, I think during the opening, you know, when you two were doing the Oli, you know, and then we had, is it Lanikai? Yeah, and he came out and did the Oli Aloha. And my oldest, you know, he's gone to a handful of hotels in his life, you know, because we travel quite a bit. But he was asking, oh, who is that? And I told him, oh, he's a resort manager here. And he was like, whoa, he's chanting, you know? I said, yeah, but for him, he never seen someone on that level on the executive team at a hotel do that kind of stuff. So for him, he was just it was cool for him to see somebody doing the Oli very strong, and it made an impression on him, you know. But I think that's what happens, right? All these small moments that he created and you two created throughout this whole weekend is making an impression on people here and there, you know. And what kind of can you share like any aha moments, as you mentioned, that you've seen from the community when they come here? Hey, can you share any of those?
As I said, I got to think and then let you take down on the hard question.
Aha moments for the community. You know, I think in recent, any of our events have become aha moments.
Yeah.
Of course, Festivals of Aloha, because of the magnitude of culture that we share at our events.
Yeah.
Back in February, we had a special dedication for the creation of a pa.
Oh yeah.
So this is a pa noa, and it's located in our Queen's Garden, which is another passion project from our head landscaper, Uncle Kevin. And his thing was always about, let's tell the Queen story. And so we have dedicated a space and named it Pu'uwai Nui o Kalani, named after Queen Liliuokalani, who Pu'uwai Kila Nui had a heart of steel. And when you think about that, it's like not a cold heart. She wasn't cold-hearted, but she was she loved her people so much, but was also strong-hearted, strong heart for her people. And moments like that was in February. For me, that was one of the really big ones because the community came out.
Yeah.
We had everything set. We did protocol, everything. And we had the community come in and offer makana, ho'okupu. And I think that was moments we got choked out too.
Yeah.
You know, and it's moments like that. I think that the community doesn't even know what to expect from us.
Yeah.
We don't even know what to expect.
You never know. It just happens.
Yeah.
Very organic.
But how awesome for them to come in
But yeah.
and feel that aloha.
Yeah.
That lives to our culture, our people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I know I had an aha moment this Festivals of Aloha in our opening ceremony because we usually plan out what we're going to do and we planned out the day before. Literally, we planned to go live, we planned it out the day before and he kind of wrote it out. He goes, okay, this is this. And I had told him, I said, one of our kupunas said that they'd like to join in. And I don't like telling our kupuna no.
Oh yeah.
And I said, yes, so we made space for them. And usually we do it. It's just us. But when they ask, I said, let them come.
Oh, yeah.
And so we put them in our lineup. And I was fine with our chanting, everything that we were doing until the kupuna got up and they started chanting and the tears came out of my eyes.
Yeah.
And hearing them chant, and they were doing a chant that was for kupunas or talking about our ancestors. And I got all choked up and I was supposed to talk after, right?
Yeah.
And I started to talk and all I could hear, I could still hear the chanting in my head and I couldn't speak. And so I handed it over to Lonnie, guys. I dropped and my voice got all crackly and everything. And I just said, I wanted to still be in that moment because it really felt good to see that our kupunas are here
Yeah.
and they wanted to be a part of this and we let them. And it didn't only affect me because then I noticed that there were other people who had tears as well or grabbing things or sniffling. And afterwards they were saying, well, that was amazing. That was
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Because I didn't think that was something that none of them were expecting either. And here we were, taking care of our kupuna.
And I think it just brings light to all the work that has been done for this. The mana, the energy, the aloha, and for these kupuna to feel like, okay, like this is our space too. It just shows how much the whole team here at the Four Seasons has really invested into the culture, and to want to lead with the culture too. And that's something that you notice when you go to certain spaces, right? Like you feel a certain energy around you. And that's kind of like how I go about walking through areas. It's just kind of like you kind of check it out, feel what's flowing around. And I heard Kumukamaka talk about the whole the Noah pa, right?
Yeah.
Pa no, sorry. So I made sure to walk through it today, walk around it today, and you could tell that there's been a lot going into there. And when you mentioned like the people came around, get the makana and everything, I was like, oh, you can tell that there's been like a lot of aloha being placed into this space, and it's only going to grow from there. But I think that's what this whole Festivals of Aloha has been, right? It's continue just adding to this space and making it a special place, not just for the guests here, but also for the community to be like,
But what everybody got to realize, because a lot of times they'll tell us, wow, you guys did such a wonderful job. We help facilitate this.
yeah,
And everybody else around us, all the different departments, got to come together.
yeah,
And we all got to work together to pull this off. So we may be what everybody's seeing, but let me tell you, banquets, conference services, I mean, all these departments have to work together in order for us to pull this off. And the lighting guy, the sound man, all these little ones who, kind of nobody kind of sees because you don't see them. We see them
yeah,
and then they're gone. And we keep on saying that we have to acknowledge everybody because it really takes a team. And I keep saying that it takes a team to put this together. And I think all of us here at the Four Seasons, we feel very well taken care of.
yeah. I think that's an important thing that we also talk about. We acknowledge all the work that goes behind the scenes, right? Because everybody just sees the end product, but they don't see all the sweat and the tears and the pain that goes on with putting this together. So when people says like, "Oh, we should do this again," it's like, okay, well, it's not work.
It
Let me rest this just 3 days, dude.
3 days out of the year just to be. No. That.
With this being 4 years of Festivals of Aloha, what do you hope to see in the next year, 5 years, 10 years? Like what do you hope to see how it grows and evolves?
Well, I hope it grows and evolves and that he's going to be able to take it over. And that the legacy will continue, I'm just hoping that the basis for this is to be able to share the Hawaiian culture and to share it with anybody who wants to learn.
Yeah.
We share it. I'm just hoping that he's going to be able to take that on and carry it through.
Yeah, I think we talked about this a lot this weekend, right? About legacy and holding on to traditions and continuing forward. And I think all the events that you have is people instilling a little piece of themselves within each interaction, that they can carry on to wherever they go after. And I think that's such a powerful interaction to have and feeling to have between people. And when you create the space that allows that to happen, it's a very powerful space to be in, and you feel a lot of things. And we like last night at the heartbeat of hula. The hula is the heartbeat, right? You could just tell like the whole community was feeling like uplifted, and hearing the Lim family and seeing all the halal come together, and you know I had moments where my wife was like, "Are you crying?" You know, and I'm just like, "Right, where are you?" I was just like, "It's a little dusty," you know. It's like, but you do have those moments where it hits you, you know, in and out, and it reminds you like of family and like the things that you grew up with. S- You know, so when it comes to that whole thing, you know, and growing with the Festival of Aloha, are there any things that you hope to add more into? Like, you know, you had the Lim family come last night. That was a huge, like, I was in awe. You know, like as you mentioned, like when they're singing the songs, it was just like I was taken back into time. Um, and then we see all the halal there. You know, is there any musicians or halal that you hope to bring in?
But that was the basis for Hula is the Heartbeat,
Yeah.
was that we were going to invite in halal, and that we were going to, every year we change, we feature a different group of
Hmm.
musicians, and they have a 10-minute slot for whatever they want to do in Kahiko, and then they can choose. The Awana songs come from whoever the artists
Wow.
are, and so like last year we had Kel Ho,
Hmm.
um, and of course this year the Lim family. If I was to say, and I want you to answer your question as well, this question as well. If I was able to choose someone who I would love to have come, and maybe he's listening and he's watching what we're doing here, I would love to have Robert Casimir.
Oh.
I would love to have it. I have listened to him when it was the Brothers Casimiro, and there's something about his singing that I can be in the most craziest mood. I can be in um, an ugly mood. I hear him sing, and it just goes away. It's something that's so soothing.
Hmm.
And yeah, I would love to have. The thing is, we always love to have. Well, not make sure. We always want to bring something where the hula is a part of that music.
Oh wow.
And Robert Casamero or Bobby Casamero sings hula songs. And when you dance to his music, yeah, you feel it.
Yeah.
You feel it. I'm getting up there in age already, and like I say, I've heard his music from years, and I can still listen to something that was from maybe 20 years ago
Hmm.
or 30 years ago, and I'm just hearing it for the first time again because I still get that same emotion. I feel like,
Yeah.
wow, so beautiful. So if you ask me who would I want to come, I don't know. I might have that phone call.
Can I just piggyback on that? I think the last time I was able to sit in on a concert at the Mac, he was at the Mac. I think it was one of his May Day. When he does May Day,
Mhm.
is
Yeah, he used to always come to Maui.
yeah, just the way he makes you feel like we're just sitting here, and we were just talking stories. Oh, and here's a hula. Like it flows so well, and um, yeah, I just was you sit down, and before you know it, the show's over, but you've been mesmerized
Yeah.
all the while. So
And I've never talked to you about this. So you didn't know who I was gonna say, right? And I
no,
was like,
but I was
yeah,
and I second that motion. That's a great
right?
choice.
Yeah. And I think like this year when we announced to the halals who was gonna be our artist that was gonna come and sing, all of them were so happy. Like everybody was so happy because they said they all knew already what songs they wanted to do because they just love to dance to hula music. And who better than the Lim family, right? So I'm thinking, so always when I think of the artists that come out to play for Hula is a Heartbeat, it's like definitely has to be hula music.
Yeah.
And Robert Casamero has beautiful
Oh yeah.
hula music.
Especially if he brings the piano. Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. You know, in the ballroom, in the setting. Okay. I'm there. I'll be on that too. You know. But th- this is close it off because I want to be mindful of your time and energy because you've been at it for the past 3 days and you have some more to go.
Yeah,
You know,
almost done.
almost done. It's a home stretch. You know, but if you could share this like one word that comes to mind of the essence that you feel during the Festival of Aloha, especially when as it's kind of coming down to the end and you're seeing like all that has been going on this weekend. Is there a word or even a proverb or a saying that kind of comes to mind?
Where you gonna go? You want me to say mine first?
Yeah.
I could go first. Okay, you take that.
You know, I think this year's theme of Festivals of Aloha fits it very well. Hahae no ka ua I ka ulula'au. The rain follows the forest. It's almost like build it and they will come, you know, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And being that, you know, our culture is alive and thriving even more so each year, I feel that Festivals of Aloha is that, you know.
Yeah.
Especially here for Maui Nui Akama, because it encompasses culture, but not just on Maui. We've got our sister islands as well, Moloka'i and Lanai. And so, yeah, build it and they will come. Bring in the festivities and it will come. Yeah, it will come to fruition and people will enjoy it, but also perpetuate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I beautiful.
Yeah. Mine would be mahalo ke akua. Without our Lord, yeah. We have to thank Him for all the blessings that He has bestowed upon us.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Enough said right there. Oh man, yeah, man, yeah. No, so I just want to say again, mahalo for your time and for just like sharing the space with me and allowing me to just talk stories and and first time finally get to sit down and you're not on the stage dancing or singing and everything, today's a good time, so it's finally good to just sit down, and just again mahalo Aunty Wendy for always thinking about the Cool Project, and as I mentioned, like the Cool Project has always been this like this trying to be a platform of helping people be grounded.
Yeah. No, and I follow because it's very uplifting. Yeah. I like some of those things when you say it and I read it again. I read it, then I'll take a snapshot of it. And I keep it. Okay, let me go back to that. So thank you for providing that for all of us.
Yeah. No mahalo.
Yeah.
Are we all?
Oh.
Are we all?